Welcome to Irish Illustrated Pregame Instant Analysis, brought to you by the RV Manufactured Housing Hall of Fame and Northern Indiana Event Center in Elkhart, Indiana. I'm Tim O'Malley, joined this morning by Tim Priester and Drew Mentock from our hotel rooms and Holden offices. It was very windy last night, Drew. That might be something that could slow Notre Dame's passing game
Yes.
down. I'm not sure Boston College can otherwise.
Yeah, definitely not. It was definitely pretty windy. Might dress warmer than I initially planned to because of that. But yeah, definitely don't see. I mean, this defense is not great. I mean, they're the worst if you look at FP plus, which combines SP plus and FEI. Like this is the worst power forward team in the country, and a lot of that has to do with their defense. And there's really nothing that the defense seems to do particularly well. So it's kind of going to be pick your poison with Notre Dame's offense, which is probably the most complete Notre Dame offense we've seen since I've been really following the team.
Yeah, they don't do anything well defensively, and it sounds like Dylan Lonergan will start at quarterback for them. I'm not haven't verified that, but some
Right.
inklings of that, and that would certainly give them a better chance through the air, but it would diminish their running game, which is already really, really bad. They've rushed for less than 100 yards in 5 out of 8 games, and so, don't you think we'll probably see both quarterbacks? Because
Yes. Yeah.
regardless who starts, it's probably going to be a little bit of a struggle for that quarterback, whether it be Lonergan or Grayson James. But Grayson James at least gives them a little bit of boost in the running game with Turbo Richard, who's been banged up the last couple games, and then Jordan McDonald. So either side of the ball, Boston College is in quite a bit of trouble today against the Notre Dame team that obviously is very eager to get back into game shape, game playing after having a week off.
We all had them winning by about 30 in our predictions, just to make sure the point was made that we think they will cover this game. But I was just trying to look at some logical things that can keep it a Notre Dame Boston College game of the past for at least a half for Boston College. And if you look at Notre Dame the last three games offensively, they are combined 15 of 41 on third and fourth down. Boston College is not absolutely hideous on third down. They're 79th in the country, and I say that it sounds funny. They're 79th in the country, but everything else, preachers, you pointed out this week, 126th, 110th, 117th, 111th, 114th. So if Notre Dame doesn't convert on fourth down, well, that makes it pretty obvious. You get an empty drive. If they're not converting on third down or not setting up a convertible fourth down, that can keep the game a little bit closer. But Priester, you made a good point. I think we'll see both quarterbacks, and if we don't see both quarterbacks, other than maybe in the red zone or short yardage where they could go to James just for conversion's sake.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good sign for Boston College if one quarterback starts this entire game.
Well, that's true. I still find it to be unlikely, but
Yep,
point
yep.
taken there. And I mean, Notre Dame can run or pass here. The last time Notre Dame rushed for 500 yards, I just kind of found this accidentally doing the pregame notes, but the last time Notre Dame rushed for 500 yards was against Boston College in 2017 when they scored 7 rushing touchdowns, which is I predicted 49 points for Notre Dame, and it could be higher, but that was a coincidence as well. But yeah, that was Brandon Wimbush and Josh Adams each going over 200 yards and then getting some change from some other guys. But yeah, I mean, I'm hopping around offense, defense here. Boston College can't get to the quarterback, and so CJ Carr should have plenty of time to throw the football. But again, they just gave up 300 yards rushing to 2 running backs last week,
Hmm.
and we know that we know that Notre Dame's capable of doing that because they did it 2 weeks ago, Price and Love against USC. So I'm bouncing around a little bit here, back and forth, but I mean Boston College is in trouble on both sides of the football. I don't want to overplay it. Could Notre Dame come out flat? I think
I don't think they could come out flat, Tim,
like I
after
don't
a
think
bye
it'll
in this.
yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
that's
I
the
don't think
thing.
it'll be flat, but like turnover margin. Notre Dame is sixth in the country at +8, and BC is way down there again in another stat at -5. That's the only to me. That's the only place where this game can really turn is with turnovers. Otherwise, going toe to toe, Notre Dame has such a significant advantage in both lines. And I thought it was interesting earlier in the week that Bill O'Brien said, if we can't stop the run, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night for BC.
Drew, you mentioned it's the most complete offense since you've been covering Notre Dame, and I think the pick your poison thing is no longer an option, right? You have to pick the poison. We're trying to stop Price and Love, but it should feature CJ Carr today.
Yeah, and that would be good. I mean, especially after the USC game, where USC did almost need to do the opposite, where they were playing those two deep safeties and trying to take away those shot plays. I'm imagining Boston College, like you said, might do a little bit more the opposite and really try and prevent those two running backs, which then would be a good opportunity for CJ Carr to kind of get back to what he was doing before, especially after the bye week, which even talking to him seemed pretty clear, like having that opportunity to reset and kind of slow things down and not have the pressure for a weekend and just watch his brother play a high school football game. Like we'll see if that really kind of paid off for him, like it kind of said he kind of indicated it would.
It's interesting, Timmy. They don't sack the quarterback at all, but their top two pass rushers, their top two edge rushers, led by Hutchins, and is it Kalanji is how it's pronounced. They have 34 pressures, but two sacks. How do you have 34 pressures and two
And
sacks?
now,
Because Traore and Bryce Young have combined for 39 or 37 pressures. It's not that big of a disparity, but you have to get home. They also don't hit the quarterback, which I think we've discussed this recently. That's a true pressure. Like no matter how you score something when you hit the quarterback, that is a pressure that should be counted. And
right.
they're not getting home on that. But I bring that up because the only way you could probably slow the Irish offense here is to make CJ Carr a little bit skittish. I can't imagine he comes out with any nerves, which clearly, without him even stating it, as we pointed out, Drew, had to be part of it against USC, and it's totally understandable against USC. But here, I think this is going to be, Tim, you mentioned 500 rushing yards. I think the passing yards are going to be too high in this one.
Yeah, like if this was last year's team, Donovan Izurukwu had 16 and a half sacks. That would be
He's a
different. I
player.
mean,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, a
Yeah.
second round draft pick. Surprised he didn't go in the first round.
Yeah.
So he was a guy that could single handedly, create pressures on the quarterback. But I don't see that happening. They're a try hard defense. I don't think that they're going to back down from Notre Dame. Notre Dame will have a second new starter in the offensive line in 2 weeks. Joining Joe Otting will be Sullivan Absher. I'm really looking forward to seeing Sullivan Absher in a starting role and see if Joe Otting can duplicate or approach what he did a couple weeks ago against USC. But when you don't, if you don't pressure CJ Carr, I mean, I think he missed a couple guys early against USC. I don't know why. Maybe whatever the
I mean,
magnitude of
I
a season adding
yeah,
up.
yeah.
If anything, uh, Marcus Freeman kind of shot that down when I brought it up the other day, but I still think there's something to that. But if he doesn't have pressure, all of his receivers are available to him. Any one of those top four guys, and then tight end, and including Jeremiah Love coming out of the backfield. It's pick your poison for BC, and both of them are going to be killer.
Drew, I mentioned this week that while Eli Raridan does have, we found out he has two red zone targets. Somebody asked on the podcast, does he have any red zone targets? He has two. They're both complete. One actually set up a failure on 4th and 1 at the goal line. He has no end zone targets. This could be the week for a few red zone targets and an end zone target for Eli Raridan because I find it strange that guys having that good of a season with no end zone targets for an offense that has stagnated in the red zone and especially goal to go. We keep saying red zone. It's the goal to go red zone that hurts
Right.
Notre Dame.
Yes, I listened and I was surprised to hear that too, especially since he's such a, I mean, he's not even just like he's a more imposing tight end than even
Yeah.
some of the other red zone threats they've had.
Right, right.
Yeah, like I think he's legitimately 6'7". So,
Yeah, and
uh,
he can dunk. You can see him dunk. I mean,
yes,
he's a more imposing threat than Mitchell Evans was in the red zone.
right.
It's yeah.
So yeah, that should be, excuse me, great to get him involved if they can and maybe work on some specific things that maybe they couldn't in the past few weeks and really try and emphasize certain things. So be interesting. And yeah, I think the biggest thing is just seeing CJ Carr with that, just making kind of those easy throws again that we kind of started taking for granted. And I feel like in the last few weeks we've seen him miss a few of those. He's still a pretty accurate quarterback, not taking
You
that away.
you
But there were times where I was like, oh, this guy's open. He's going to hit it.
Mhm.
you've got to target Eli Raridan. I mean, if not for the benefit of today, for what's coming up, if you get in the playoffs,
Yeah.
that's got to be a weapon for you to get in the end zone. I want to predict. I didn't do this a couple weeks ago, and I regretted it when he had a pick. I think Tay Johnson gets another pick today because here's what's going to happen. Regardless who's at quarterback, regardless if one plays or both play, they're probably going to be chasing in the second half, and especially if it's Lonergan who really trusts his arm. If Boston College is chasing by quite a bit in the second half, he's going to throw something that's going to be up for grabs. And Tay Johnson's a good candidate back there.
You mentioned, I'll throw it to Drew here. You mentioned Tim getting ready for the playoffs. This would not be a playoff game that I'm talking about, but November. Can they get Christian Gray 10 snaps, 8 snaps off of high leverage situation
Yeah.
Leonard Moore's playing boundary. Christian Gray goes back to field. Can you get Mark Zachary, who clearly was a backup field corner because he came in for Christian Gray both times he got dinged? Can you get Mark Zachary some snaps, Drew Mentock? Because you figure Dallas Golden's going to hold down the fort at nickel.
You'd think so. It definitely would make a lot of sense. I mean, this, as we mentioned, this is the worst power forward team. It's the worst team they're going to play the rest of the year. It's great, especially after the bye, if you can get guys even more rest and really
Yeah.
give them a chance to recover, like Christian Gay, as you guys talked about. Like clearly, some of his technique struggles recently are also because he's injured. So if you can give him that chance, I think that'd be big. I think it's important to win big for that reason, to give guys those chance, get the younger guys in, and also with the rankings coming out on Tuesday, like
Yes.
getting when the spread is 28 and a half, it's really important that you try and cover that or make it so dominant and then maybe Boston College scores late on the backups or something and changes
Right.
it. But that impressive win goes a long way for this program for a variety of reasons if they can get it.
Tim Priester's pick to click is Tate Johnson. Mine is Eli Raridan. Drew, you are allowed to piggyback one of them, but if not, last word. Who is your guy to watch today that call your shot as Tim Priester did with Tate Johnson?
Okay.
Putting Drew on the spot if people didn't know. But
Yes, yeah. I mean, I guess I want to see CJ Carr like just make all the easy throws. Like he, regardless, because even 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago in Cincy State, he still had a lot of yards. I think he threw for over 350, but he missed a few of those easy throws. I want to see him click to just make everything easy and kind of hitting the guys in stride and kind of get back to what he does that made me think that he is that special guy Marcus Freeman has been talking about for so long.
Yeah, Tim, this is a 500-yard game for Notre Dame, so take your pick offensively. I'll choose Matt Jeffrey with a late score.
nice. There we go. Wow, that's going on. Maybe a late block before his late score as well.
Maybe.
That is it for us pregame. We'll be back postgame with more Irish Illustrated instant analysis. But prior to that, tune into Irish Illustrated Overtime immediately following the game or thereabouts, where John Bryce and Drew Mentock will break down all the proceedings. Until then, for Tim Priester and Drew, I'm Tim O'Malley. This has been Irish Illustrated Instant Analysis, brought to you by the RV Manufactured Housing Hall of Fame and Northern Indiana Event Center in Elkhart, Indiana.